Hi everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. If we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. Today we're doing a nice full body flexibility class. So I'm going to play around with a couple blocks today, but you're really just going to need a little bit of space to move, and let's get started. So let's begin today in tabletop on our hands and knees. If you've got a couple blocks or even one block, just have it kind of by the top of your mat. Once you make your way onto your hands and knees, spread your fingers out nice and wide, maybe even rock your hips side to side a couple times. And we're going to move through a couple cycles of cat and cow, warming up through the spine. And I want you to also warm up your neck here. So let this cat and cow sequence movement also lengthen the front of the neck and also lengthen the back of the neck. So I want you to start here by taking an inhale. Drop your belly towards your mat, lift your chest, and then lift your chin as well. Start to look up a little bit more, arching through the back. Stay for another inhale, and let the exhale slowly round your spine. Bring your chin towards your collarbone. Give your belly button a little squeeze. Push into your palms, bringing some space between your shoulder blades. As you inhale, drop your belly again. Lift your chest and the chin. Look up as high as feels good to do so, arching through the back. Stay for an inhale so that the exhale can round the spine. Bring your chin towards your collarbone. Beautiful, you guys. Inhale, dropping your belly again, arching through your back, lifting your chest, maybe the chin. A little higher this time. Feel the length through the front of your neck. Stay for an inhale. And let the exhale round your spine. Give your belly a squeeze. Push into your palms. Awesome work, you guys. Let an inhale bring you back to a neutral spine, a flat back. You might even rock your hips side to side a couple times, and then you can start to turn your fingertips out to the sides, to the edges of your mat. Keep spreading your fingers nice and wide. If this feels good on your wrists, you might even add a gentle sway of your shoulders side to side. If you want more, a deeper stretch through those forearms and wrists, turn your fingers to point towards your knees. Feel free to do one hand at a time. Awesome work, you guys. If you have your fingers pointing towards your knees, maybe a gentle rock of the shoulders, forwards and back. Feels good. Maybe no movement at all. And if you are doing one side, one hand right now, just start to switch. Just allowing yourself to let go of your day here. Moving through a few different poses today. Moving throughout our entire body. Awesome work. Let's start to release that. Bring your hands back, point those fingertips forwards, maybe even just stand on your knees for a second and take a couple wrist circles, gentle forearm massage maybe. You can bring your hands down when you are ready. Our right foot is going to come forwards between our hands. So let's set up a lunge. We're going to spend a little bit of time here. So if you do want some cushion for that back knee, feel free to roll your mat over. If you've got some nice blocks to use today, you might move them so they're on either side of that front foot, just for some balance, some support. Sinking your hips forwards and down here. Find that nice left hip flexor. Nice job, you guys. You can keep your hands down, your chest low towards that front knee, or you can start to lift up. Lift your chest, maybe place your hands on your knee. Stay here. Or add a gentle twist. If you want to turn your chest towards your right side, the left hand could stay on the knee. The right hand might find the right hip or even the left one. Let your palm face away if your right hand is on your low back or on that left hip. You might feel some love through the shoulders here, but all the while sink those hips forwards and down. Awesome, you guys. Slowly, if you're twisting, use the inhale to come back, face forwards, and then plant your hands, maybe on your blocks or just on your mat. Send the hips back. Find a half split. Maybe pointing your toes up towards the ceiling or the sky above you to really lengthen through the calf, through the hamstring. You can drop your chest as far as feels good towards your knee. Half splits, lengthen that front leg. Nicely done, you guys. Use an inhale, bend your front knee again, come back into your lunge, and then heel toe that right foot to the edge of your mat, over to that right side. Set up your lizard. Turn your toes out on an angle, or your foot out on an angle. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Nice opportunity to add your blocks again. Sinking into the hips. You may also come down onto your forearms. Just use your mat or use your blocks if you have some. Whatever those hips need. Awesome job, you guys. Option, again, to add that twist back into our lizard. So keep your left hand or even your entire forearm down if you're on your forearms. Start to turn your chest towards your right knee. You can place your hand on your right knee, or maybe you're going to bring it to your left hip again. Feel that love through the shoulder, maybe the twist through your back, the deep, deep hip opener. Nicely done, you guys. If you're twisting, one more inhale. Let the exhale bring you back onto both hands out of your twist, and heel toe your foot to the middle of your mat. Send your hips back again for your half split. See if it feels a little different. Maybe you're going to walk your hands further away past your foot so that you're lengthening, you're reaching. You get that nice deep stretch through the back of your leg. Awesome work, you guys. Use an inhale, bend your front knee, plant your hands, and just take that front knee back all the way into tabletop. Give your hips a nice gentle rock. Side to side, shake things out a little bit. And when you do feel ready, we're gonna bring, I hope you're feeling some love through your hips so far. Bring your left foot forward, set up your lunge. Move your blocks if you've got blocks so that they're useful, or toss them to the side if you don't want to use them. Sink your hips forward, sink your hips down. Find that right hip flexor. Maybe roll your mat over if you need that extra cushion. And then decide if you're going to stay with your hands down, your chest low, or if you're going to reach and place your hands on your knee. And if you want that twist, why not add it now? Turn your chest just a little bit to that left side, as far as feels good. All the while sinking your hips forward, sinking your hips down. Maybe that left hand does find the outer right hip. But just breathe wherever you happen to be. If you are twisting, let's use an inhale to come back. Face forwards, plant your hands down, send your hips back. Let that hip flexor go. Find your calf, find your hamstring. Point those toes up if you'd like. Drop your chest towards your knee, maybe your nose. Your half split. Just for a few breaths. Because we get to do this a couple times today. So let's use an inhale to bend back into the front knee, sinking into those hips again. You can heel toe your foot to the left side. Turn your foot on an angle a little bit. Bring your hands under your shoulders, maybe on your blocks. Option to go to the forearms if it feels good on the hips to do so, or stay on your palms. Take a nice deep breath in here and out. Let gravity pull your hips down towards your mat. And if you want that twist, keep letting gravity pull your hips down towards your mat, but slowly start to turn your chest. Place the left hand wherever feels best for you, on the left knee, the left hip, the right hip. Awesome work, you guys. Use an inhale to come back. If you are twisting, climb up onto your hands. Heel toe your foot to the middle of your mat again. Send your hips back. Once you're there, find your half split. Maybe try to reach or walk your blocks past your foot. How far can you walk them away from your foot while still enjoying the stretch, not going too far, just allowing that calf and hamstring to open, to lengthen. Beautiful, you guys. Let's use an inhale. Bend into your front knee again so you can plant your hands and bring that knee back into your tabletop. Take a nice rock of your hips side to side. We're going to be coming into puppy dog next. So since I've got some blocks to use today, I'm going to use them. So you can reach both of your arms out in front. We'll keep our hips high. I'm going to place my blocks actually underneath my elbows, kind of like my triceps, and make one straight line here with my blocks. I'm going to have them on the high edge here, or I guess this is the medium edge, so that my chest has some room to fall towards the mat. So whether you have blocks or not, you're just reaching your arms out in front. You can let your palms face down, especially if you are not using blocks. And then just let your forehead melt down to your mat. And then let your chest melt down to your mat. And if you're like me right now, and my hands are kind of floating right now because my elbows are lifted on top of my blocks, I'm going to bend my elbows. I'm going to lift my hands above my head, bring my palms together, lift my hands just behind my head, and see how the shoulders feel in that position. The triceps, the back. You can also do this lift of the hands, bend of the elbow, if you're using your mat only. Stay for another breath here before you start to move. And just letting an inhale help you lift. Lift your forehead, your chest. Be careful if you are on some wobbly blocks. As you come off, you come into your tabletop and maybe take a nice rock of the shoulders side to side. The hips could sway, whatever feels good. We're going to be coming back into our lunge with our right foot forwards. So sink into those hips. Lots of hips and hamstring today. Sink into your hips. Find your hip flexor. Let's take one more inhale. And using the exhale, send your hips back again. You can start to point your toes up. Find your half splits. And you can take this into half splits. You can take this a little further than that if you happen to be working towards full splits. Let your blocks help you. You might scoot your foot towards the top of your mat so that you can bring your hips a little lower towards the ground. You might end up off of your mat if you're not in the sweet spot. And if you have maybe a little height under that front leg that a block could perhaps fill, maybe you're going to slide it under. And the same thing here. Depending on how you're feeling, you might drop your chest or even your nose to your knee. You might keep your upper body lifted. And if you did make your way into full, 3/4, whatever you want to call it, splits, let's start to make our way back into half and then back into our lunge. So just bend your knee. Be graceful as you can. Find your lunge. Awesome, you guys. Now find your tabletop. Bring that right knee back. How are those hips feeling? Those hamstrings, give them a little shake. Shake it out. We're going to move to the other side. Left foot forwards. Finding our lunge. Sinking into those hips. Find that hip flexor. Soften your shoulders. Nicely done, you guys. One more inhale. Let the exhale send your hips back. Lengthen your front leg. Maybe point those toes up. Decide, are you happy here? Do you have a nice bend through that front knee? Stay here. Maybe even lift your chest higher. If you've got some nice blocks, you may be lifted all the way up here. I should have said that on the other side. If you have some movement to slide your front foot forwards or kind of heel toe your front foot forwards, it's always nice to actually throw on a pair of socks if you are working on your splits, and then that front foot sometimes can just slide. You might even be scooching the back knee, the back leg back, and maybe a block fits nicely underneath your front leg. Maybe not. Just play around. Maybe tip the upper body forwards. Maybe kiss your knee. Nicely done, you guys. If you need to start to make your way back to half splits because you went on a little bit of a journey, you can slowly start to move and then come back into your lunge, last lunge. Yay. And then finding your tabletop. Rock your hips a couple times, side to side. How are your legs feeling? Nice work, you guys. Let's bring our knees together. Let's tuck our toes under. So we stretched our wrists a little bit. Let's stretch our toes. Push your toes or push your hands into your mat to send your hips back towards your heels. Curl those toes under so you're lengthening through the bottom of them. Stay with your hands on your mat or on your blocks, or take a seat back on your heels. Let your shoulders fall from your ears. Forget about your hips, forget about your hamstrings, and give your toes all of your attention. But smile, tell yourself that you like the feeling if you're getting that nice, intense feeling, sensation, whatever you want to call it, running through those toes, those feet, those ankles. And if your hands are lifted up, slowly bring them down. Rest on the top of the feet. Maybe shake it out, tap it out a couple times, but then rest on the top of the feet. Sit back on your heels again. You can lean back as far as you want to lean back, and you can lift your knees as high as you'd like to lift your knees to lengthen through the top of the ankles. Maybe your blocks come behind you. Maybe your hands are just on your mat. Maybe you're balancing. Bring your hands to your lap. Awesome job, you guys. One more inhale, and let the exhale bring your knees back down. You can cross your ankles and just come into a nice, comfy, seated position. Place your hands in your lap or on your knees. Close your eyes. Take a big breath in and out. Do that again. Nice big breath in and out. One more deep breath in. Awesome work, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. That is it. That is all for today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, namaste.